Oh, Diddy!
What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Hop back again with another video. We're hopping right back into the series, episode 2 of Behind the Build with my dog Imad and his Porsche GT3. So let's hop straight into the video. And this is my boy Imad.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me on the channel, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for coming up.
Pleasure.
So let's start with the cosmetics outside of the car, what we have done so far.
Sweet. So we'll start with the car. So basically this is a 991.2 2018 911 GT3. It's my baby. Love the car. Love everything about it. Honestly, I don't think it needs anything from factory, but of course I grew up in that modify your car, wheels, aesthetics, interior, but over the years I've gone more subtle and tried to keep factory look. Everything I do is OEM plus. I feel like that brings out the most out of the car. I'm sure a lot of guys could agree. So aesthetically, we can start with the wrap. I went with a satin black wrap. I had never really seen a GT3 in my area with it, so I gave it a shot. The car is GT Silver underneath. It will be going back to GT Silver next week because there is a sneak peek for this car's replacement in December. I've had the car for about 3 years. This is a car that gets driven a lot. I like to drive the car to its limits. I do take it to the track. I do like to do a lot of rally runs. I get with the boys, dinner with the wife. It does everything. I have space, trunk space, I have space in the rear, so it's versatile. I'm not uncomfortable. Car is optional with 18-way seats. Wife was pregnant at the time, so bucket seats in a manual wouldn't be an option at the time. She doesn't like that. She likes to drive the car as well, so everyone gets to enjoy it. I went with the BBS wheels. I went with the lightweight FRIs. They're my favorite. They look great. They're in diamond black. I went with OEM spec. Just went a little bit aggressive offset just to get it more flush with the body, but I wanted to keep the OEM tires and stuff like that. Just basically, I mean, Porsche has done so much testing on these cars. I mean, they know the right tire and the right size of wheel should go on it, so why should I mess with that? This is a motorsport car. This one has the 4.0 revised engine, which is basically their cup car motor. It sounds great. I just did a center bypass from GMG. Sounds amazing. It's plenty loud enough to me. Anything over that, in my opinion, would just be cup car loud, and what's the point of that? You know, I'm not trying to wake up my whole household every time I want to sneak out and go with the boys, you know? I did add the 3RS side skirts. The reason why I did that is just a little more aggressive. They come out further. It does require a little modification to those RS side skirts. They are OEM. Looks good. I think they came out great. I upgraded the headlights as well. I went with the 992 style PDLS Plus headlight because you can't get an OEM headlight and retrofit it to the PDLS Pluses. You would all need all new computer modules, etc. It would just be a rabbit hole. It's not worth the investment, but they do have aftermarket. Brian at Above and Beyond Performance able to hook me up with them. I think they look better than the 992 OEM ones because the runway lights actually turn on in this car. By specification in the US, they don't allow that to be on for whatever reason for DOT. Only Europe models, even if you do upgrade the headlights on 992, they don't turn on. They won't program them for you to turn on, which is sad if you spent the money on them. Kept everything pretty OEM in the front. I go through the front grills every 6 months from rock chips or whatever debris on 95 here in South Florida. It's never surprising, you know, to find a whole shoe, fence. I've seen it all. You know, they just go through the front. I mean, I've seen
ladders and stuff.
Ladders, full blown. I see chain link fence before, just fly off someone's truck. I mean, it's pretty common down here. So I go through those. I have another set that's being replaced next week once I take the wrap off. But aesthetically, I kept it pretty stock. You know, I wanted to keep it pretty clean looking. I just added some, I did have Manthai Racing's kit on order. Unfortunately, they kept pushing out the order, and it's like every 6 months they're like, oh, it's delayed. So I ended up canceling it, but I did get the specs for Imad'S Racing tow, camber, and suspension setup. So I was able to have Orbit Racing in Palm Beach go ahead and dial that in for me, and now it's actually sitting perfectly because it does have factory coilover, so I didn't have to change springs or anything like that. So that was really sweet. As you've seen, you drove it over here, you were able to see how planted it feels and how well it turns in. I'm sure you could agree.
Oh, that experience was none other.
Yeah.
The handling on
this
this car is crazy, even in the rain. Oh man.
Yeah, it just sucks for us in South Florida. I grew up, I'm originally from upstate New York, so you know, I grew up on Hawks Nest and Bear Mountain and doing all these crazy roads. So down here we don't get to enjoy these GT3s as much, but you know, I'll go hunt down a good road and give it a good rip. But I still enjoy the car here, regardless. I mean, we could go, you know, some people would say it's not fast enough, whatever the case may be. I think it's plenty fast. I don't think any car, the car weighs, it's so light, it's about 3,000 pounds, 3,100, 500 horsepower, it's plenty. And obviously the PDK transmission really gets that power down to the ground. You know, Porsche horsepower is not, you know, it's not going to equal to Mopar horsepower, etc. It's just Porsche's just put the power down all the way back to the wheels just pretty well. It's fast enough for me. I get a lot done. It's comfortable. Have a lot of storage space, and I did its interior some stuff. As you can see, I go light tint every time, ceramic, just to keep the sun rays out in Florida. Most of these cars are garaged, so I did go with the GMG half cage. Car is equipped with 18-way seats, also wrapped in black in the rear of the back of the seat, because they do come with this ugly silver plastic backing, but when they wrap it in from factory in black leather with the stitching, it looks amazing. Gives the car a nice dark look. Interior wise, I went pretty simple. Just basics, you know. It's not really a really well optioned car. GT3's base, I don't like them well optioned. They keep the sticker down. I don't think it's worth it, because this is a motorsport car. You typically want to, if you're going to use it, daily it, or you know, beat it and track it and stuff like that, can handle all of it. But make sure you don't go crazy on the spec unless you know, you're not worried about your resale value, because if you get a base, you put some miles on, it's going to hold pretty well. Other than that, I just did the GT2 RS center steering wheel. As you can see, it's carbon fiber. That's from the 2RS. I had to find that on eBay. I did put those ugly extenders on the PDK paddle shifters. Honestly, it's not for looks, it's more for function. Sometimes I can't find the small PDK shifters. It's just the extended just works for me. I could grab it from a few different angles. Also, I did do the 992 new shifter. I upgraded that, had it custom stitched to match the Alcantara and stitching in the car in silver. That is the PDK system from the 992 GT3. So I did upgrade the shifter, just aesthetic looks. It just looks good. I think it looks clean, looks great. Other than that, that's basically it. Everything else is stock. I think the Bose sound system sounds great the way it is. You can go crazy and upgrade these things, but for me personally, this is as far as I would go on a GT3. Honestly, with most 911s is really just getting the suspension dialed in to where it's functional. I like to put everything on the car that's functional, as well as wheels. I didn't want to go heavier wheel. What's the point putting a heavier wheel on a car that has 500 horsepower? I mean, I didn't want to put more stress on the car where it would need the, you know, the higher rotational mass on the wheel. It doesn't make sense. So I did go lighter. They are 30 pounds lighter than the OEM total. So yeah, engine. Engine wise, I did do a few things in the engine. I did GMG center bypass. I did go over that. I did do M Engineering's PDK tune with the engine tune. I feel like if you do the engine tune, the PDK tune's really what brings it all together. Because it just makes everything smoother, shifts faster. There's so many parameters on the PDK that they could tune. It's insane. I had the engineering guys and Brian Above and Beyond Performance really broke it down for me how many parameters they could adjust on the PDK. It's a well advanced system, so it really dials the car in all the way. It makes sense when you do both. I've driven the car without it and with, and I do notice the difference. And shifting, it just gets a lot smoother and snappier, which is nice, especially with the exhaust, because then you get a nice snap of the exhaust anytime you're shifting around 5,000 to 6,000 RPM.
Yeah, those little pops.
Yeah, you heard it, right? It's like a little slap. You know, it's not SVJ's epic with a Gintani, but you do get a mini good slap on it. It sounds good. We all like it. It's all fun things. Other than that, I've had this car for a long time. I've driven it a lot. I got it with 6,000 miles. I'm probably at 27,000 miles. So I did put 20,000 miles on it in about 2.5 years. Unfortunately, it will be leaving us in December. Sad to go. Hopefully my guy Gary picks it up. Gary, here it is.
Gary, come and get her. Come and get her, man.
You got till December, brother. You got till December. So hopefully, it gets. I'm gonna miss the car. I think the 991.2 body. I like the 992s as well. It's just there's something about the 991 I still like. I'm a huge 997 fan. Obviously, I can't afford a 997. 4.0 GT3 RS. That would be the dream. But I just love the 991 body. I just think it looks good. I love the rear. I love the front end of the car. It's just very sleek. I do love it in the GT silver too. Once I take the wrap off, I think it's a classic color for these cars. And it just does everything. It does everything. It's a Swiss Army knife of cars. I've driven multiple cars. I mean, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I've driven multiple BMWs. I ride bikes as well, and track bikes. I mean, for me, Porsche does it all. I could have my wife with me. I could have a Carrera S or Carrera GTS turbo. You could push 600 wheel out of those cars pretty easily with just downpipe tune, a few modifications. But at the end of today, how much power do you really need? That's really up to you, but it's really how this car handles and puts the power down to the ground, how it looks. Just the whole package is just, it all comes together. No matter how many cars I drive, I always have that soft spot for Porsche since I was a kid.
Yeah, this is the car guy, Need for Speed dream car.
Yeah, this is the true Need for Speed, the good old 997 days and stuff like that. But the carbon ceramics are great. That's the only two options really on this car that are worth really talking about, is the carbon ceramics and 18-way seats, unless you want buckets. Buckets for me weren't an option. I do love the buckets. You do feel more engaged with the chassis when you have buckets. It does make a difference. My best friend Dan has a 992 GT3 in Shark Blue. It makes a huge difference. That double wishbone suspension is the biggest difference on that car in the front aero. It just puts a lot more downforce down, but there's a reason why they keep these cars around 500 horsepower, because it does not need any more. And if obviously you have a thing with Porsche, they have the 2RS for them, they have the Turbo S as well, which from factory, Turbo S's can do 10.2 with your gram on it over and over and over again. So I do have another 911, which will be coming up. Obviously, it's very stock at the moment, so we're not going to be showing too much of it. There's a few things going on within the next 6 months I'll be doing to it. I'll be bringing it to a full circle. It is a manual. It's a 992 manual GTS. It isn't a special color, but it will be getting wheel suspension, some aero stuff, some downforce. This one, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the build with this one, but I already have all the engine mods done to it. I'll go over those once obviously we go over that video as well.